everybody, it's that time again. Welcome back to the Square the Circle music channel. It's your pal, your host, Major. That's right. Well, here it is. Again, it's Tuesday night. What do we do on Tuesday nights? We talk about neat stuff I find at the junk store. That's right, it's time again for Tales from the Thrift. Starring me, your pal. So, let's just get right into it. I hope you guys have had a good week. It's been real cold here in Oregon, and we're all kind of getting ready for holiday season. I know I am. I like the holidays, so kind of diving head first into hibernation mode. I always save up all of my time off, all of my vacation days. All at the end of the year. And so I normally take like at least about 5 or 6 days if I can get away with it at Thanksgiving time. And then again at Christmas time. Because, yeah, my body just wants to naturally just go, night everybody. And just hunker down and just spin records and watch movies and snuggle with the kids and make food. And that's what it's all about, right? So, well, yeah, enough about me. Let's look at all this neat shit that I found from around town here in Eugene, Oregon. So, yeah, I'll show my CDs first. Those are usually kind of fun. I found a pretty good chunk this time. I always buy Depeche Mode albums when I find Depeche Mode albums because I'm not too familiar with them. I had no idea that their career has gone on as long as it has. They are back on tour like right now, aren't they? Supporting a brand new album, right? As well as playing all their magnificent old stuff, because you know I know a lot of what they were doing like in the late 80s and stuff, but close friend of mine, Nick, he loves them. They're his favorite band. And so I've made a point of every time I find a dollar CD of a Depeche Mode album, I buy it just so I can like experience it and see, you know, why everyone loves them so much. And I do, like what I know of the very few albums I've listened to, I really dig them. But this was like a much later album, late 90s, 1997. It's just called Ultra, right? Yeah, Depeche Mode's Ultra from 1997. Yeah, really cool. So for $1, you know, and it's clean as a whistle. So that guy really looks like Gavin Rossdale from Bush right there. Yeah, whatever. Should be a cool album. This is really cool to find. I've never seen this, and I'm a child of the 90s, which is bizarre that I've never seen this and I didn't know it existed, because this was probably released much later into like the 21st century. Probably like in 2005, between 2005 and 2008, when I was kind of like checked out of reality. The series had been going on for like more than a decade, and then they made the first movie, which was a wild success. It was a really fucking fantastic movie. And then they did a second one to try to tie in a bunch of other like subplots and like a bunch of other stuff, and it's just like, I don't know, it didn't hold up in my opinion. But I'm talking about the X-Files. Love that show. I was raised on that show. I mean, I wouldn't say raised. I was a young adult, you know, teenager in high school, and my whole family would just like gather around the TV for this. This was a big fucking deal in the 90s. And like I said, I kept watching it all the way through adulthood, and then the second movie that they did was kind of lame. But this is like a soundtrack. I don't think it's a soundtrack to the film. It's just songs, X-rated songs, whatever, the X-Files. And it's got like just a bunch of random shit. Danzig, Elvis Costello does a duet with Brian Eno on here. Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper collaborate on something. There's a Foo Fighters song. William Burroughs plays with R.E.M. on this. It's super fucking crazy cool. So yeah, I've never seen this. When was it released? God, it's so hard to see everything on CDs. Looks like 1998 to me. So yeah, I was already in college, and I was just kind of like checked out of this kind of shit, you know. But this ought to be really fun to listen to. Great compilation album. This is a blast from the past. I didn't really like these guys when they came out, like in probably 94 or 95 maybe. It was 95. because they were just really kind of derivative and just kind of, everyone was like, whoa, it's incredible that they're, you know, these guys are like 16 years old and putting out a rock album. And it's like, big fucking deal. Like, they're just playing 4-chord, you know, hard rock. Like, it was just kind of like the flavor of the year in 1995. But it's, that single was still pretty good. It was catchy as hell. You guys remember Silverchair? I think they were Australian, weren't they? Yeah, I think they were Australian. And then here in America, that was a huge splash because it's like, yeah, these guys were playing some really cool hard rock and they were young. They were really young. 14, 15, and 16. You gotta wait too, fat boy. Fat boy. Yeah, whatever. That was a pretty cool year. I liked that year. I was a freshman in high school. Sophomore in high school. Oh, I was right about the same time, sophomore in high school maybe, and we all just got a huge fucking chuckle about this. Even back then, when this guy was on top of the world, he's still, in a sense, on top of the world, I guess you could say, as far as pop culture, country, American country rock music. Anyway, Garth Brooks, one of my favorite comedians. I watch his shit all the time. He's got numerous podcasts. I mean, he's got a whole production company. Tom Segura, the comedian, he has one of his many podcasts, his most popular, which is just the, you know, what is it? What's it called? The YMH, I'm drawing a blank for some reason. Anyway, Tom Segura's most popular podcast that he does with his wife. He does a podcast with his wife, and they incessantly make fun of Garth Brooks, and it's hilarious just because they liken him to being kind of like a psychopath and kind of like, I mean, he's, you know, I guess you could say he's a borderline kind of like narcissist, you know, but he's a performer, he's an artist, whatever. And so they give him a really hard time, and all of his fans not infiltrated, but they go onto his social media pages and they just light up his social media pages and just make fun of him, talking about all this crazy, these jokes that Tom Segura are cracking about Garth Brooks. Anyway, it's hilarious, and they make fun of his Chris Gaines career. I don't know if you guys remember this dual personality thing that Garth Brooks did, his Chris Gaines album. Did he have a couple albums? I don't know. Laughable, even back then, still pretty laughable. And finding this, it cracked me the fuck up. And I had to have it. I'm not going to listen to it. It's garbage, I'm sure. I don't recall. I don't think I have ever heard any of it. But it made me laugh real hard. And I just had to have it because I guarantee you, I haven't looked it up yet, but I bet these albums are pretty fucking hard to find. I bet they are. So finding Chris Gaines staring at me from the shelf was pretty fun. And this one too, I just buy shit that cracks me up. I love comedy albums. I love stand-up comedy, always have. I grew up on Saturday Night Live, you know, just from that generation of just kind of like, you know, the very end of Generation X, where we were just kind of like raised on really, really good comedy of the 70s, you know, 70s and early 80s. And so this troupe of comedians will always just make me piss my pants laughing so hard. I'm talking about it's really a collaborative mind of like many individuals that kind of make up this cast of characters that plays with each other. But the godhead of all this is Christopher Guest. And of course you all know him he was the Six-Fingered Man in Princess Bride. He's done all these films you all have seen, you know, Waiting for Guffman and Best in Show and whatever. Eugene Levy is part of that troupe. He's just insanely, you know, popular now because of his Schitt's Creek show. And Catherine O'Hara too. She's part of this troupe. Anyway, long-winded. Sorry, A Mighty Wind. I found the A Mighty Wind soundtrack, and it's just like, it's pristine. It's never even been played. Pretty cool for a buck. The music to this show, this movie, I mean, it's so fucking hilarious. Really just poking fun heavily at the early folk movement in America, like, you know, mid to late 50s, early 60s, I guess you could say, when folk music was still really primarily just like country inspired, country and bluegrass inspired, and how hokey it was, and how, you know, just they just kind of really take this to the hilt, and it's absolutely genius. The music, I mean, too. I mean, like, these are the guys, you know, Michael McKeenan and is it Harry Shearer? Is that his name? Yeah, I think it's Michael McKeenan, Harry Shearer, and Christopher Guest. The guys, the trio that were Spinal Tap. You know what I mean? And he just writes all these insanely hilarious songs. Always has. And this is just chock full of fabulous hits. A mighty wind's a-blowing. It's blowing you and me. Oh, I'm excited for that. I'll spin it a bunch, get a kick out of it, and maybe I'll give it to my father or something. He loves that show too. Okay, let's move it along. What else? God, guys, I got all kinds of rad shit from the Junkstore this week, and I didn't really go that many places. I think most of what I got all came from like two stores that are like right next to each other. There's a St. Vincent de Paul and a Goodwill, and literally they almost share the same parking lot. It's pretty great. And so I often just head out there, and I can find some pretty good stuff for cheap. So let's look at some more neat crap. Oh, they were $5 for $1. Not $5. Yeah, they were $5 for $1. I got these. I think it's Goodwill that still has them $5 for $1 a few places. So it's mostly just kind of like really stuff that's really not that interesting. But, you know, I don't have any Patsy Cline in my collection. So now I have a greatest hits of, Patsy Cline's greatest hits. Crazy. I like Patsy Cline a lot. I played drums in a show, a musical theater performance years and years and years ago. My mother didn't direct it. She has directed it before, but she performed in it. It's called Love Always, Patsy Cline. And it's kind of a, you know, I guess you could say just, it wouldn't be a biography. I don't know. It acts like a biography, but it's kind of like a story being told by this other woman who knew Patsy Cline. And that was the character my mother portrayed. And they both sing together a little bit, but mostly it's just kind of vignettes of just this woman playing Patsy and singing Patsy songs. It's fantastic. Anyway, where was I going with this? I played the drums for it a couple times, I think. Yeah, maybe just once or twice, but really fun to just play some like basic, simple, easy honky tonk. I got to just like wear a cowboy hat and just play honky tonk drums to Patsy Cline songs. It was one summer I did it. It was an open air theater downtown Eugene, like on the mall, where there's like a pedestrian mall, Kesey Square, they call it, dedicated after Ken Kesey. And yeah, good times. Good times to Patsy Cline music. You know, a couple of CCR tapes. Can't turn away, you know, classic CCR. They're pretty fucked up, but I mean, they play. And, you know, it just reminds me of The Big Lebowski. And my Creedence tapes, his car gets fucking... Does it get stolen? Yeah, it gets stolen first. Doesn't it get set on fire later in the movie? Anyway, he's always bummed out about his Creedence tapes getting stolen. Yeah, and rest his soul. I know he's a bit of a controversial figure, but, you know, Jerry Lee Lewis just died. So I figured I better get some great balls of fire up in my life. One hell of a musician. So rest in power, Jerry Lee Lewis. And last tape I had to have, again, kind of just tongue-in-cheek for most. Neil Diamond's great in a lot of ways for a lot of different reasons. But this one specifically I bought. It's a Christmas album. Because, again, you know, everything I buy, I have to, you know, reminds me of some situational bullshit in my life that you guys don't give a fuck about, but I'm always talking about. Who cares? Anyway, one of the biggest laughs I had with my mother before she passed, this was like the Christmas before she died, and we would just pee our pants laughing in the kitchen together a lot, mostly about music. And making fun of musicians and people, and we just would give Neil Diamond such a hard time about this horrible Christmas song that he wrote. It's like a weird-ass version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town, but it's not the typical one. It's like, I'm not gonna sing it, guys. I'm sorry. I promise I won't do it. But if anybody knows what I'm talking about, Neil Diamond's terrible, terrible version of the Santa Claus is Coming. almost day or something, Santa Claus is coming. Oh, it's just horrendous. He performed it like on fucking, what is that late night? It wasn't Conan. It was, who else had a, oh, Jimmy Fallon. It must have been Jimmy Fallon. Anyway, this was only a few years ago. This was 3-4 years ago. And, yeah. Lots of laughs. This just reminds me of Mom. Neil Diamond's Christmas album. That'll be fun. Okay, everybody. I'll try to move it along. I know I take these episodes, which should be just kind of like fun, you know, show you a couple quick things that I brought to school, but I don't know. Like friends in the vinyl community have said before about my channel, is how I kind of use my channel as somewhat a form of therapy, I guess you could say. I just don't have people in my life to chit chat with music about a lot. So yeah, you guys are stuck here with me. Okay, and I also found some, you know, anytime I find other neat junk that really isn't related to music, still, you know, collectible and whatever, I buy it. And I talk about movies quite a bit because I really, really like cinema a lot. Cinema's pretty much trash these days, but I don't know, there's a few things to glean here and there. Whatever. I like classic cinema. And I like 80s shit. I like kind of retro 70s and 80s stuff too. I love all those really over the top kind of like John Hughes and Ivan Reitman. Is that his name? Ivan Reitman? Whatever. All those guys that were making like kind of raunchy, pseudo raunchy kind of humor for young men, basically, like in the 70s and 80s. Revenge of the Nerds and just like everything, you know, John Hughes made. And I like all that shit, you know, Porky's and you know, Ferris Bueller's Day Off and like whatever else. I love those types of films. And this was another one from my childhood. I loved all those John Cusack films, and Better Off Dead and Say Anything and all those. John Cusack's fantastic. Anyway, this is that one he did with Demi Moore and Bobcat Goldthwait. Remember that One Crazy Summer? I found a copy of this, so this will be a fun, you know, watch. Like I said at the beginning of my video, guys, I'm on, technically right now, I'm on fucking vacation. So maybe I'll put this in tonight and watch this. One Crazy Summer. Yeah, Bobcat Goldthwait. Honestly, I think in a lot of ways, to be quite honest, I think is really kind of an underrated comedian. A lot of people kind of pigeonhole him. I mean, he pigeonholed himself with that ridiculous caricature of himself that he portrays. But, you know, time and time again, like he's gotten away from that in the last 25 years. And so everyone knows that he's far more talented than he was ever given credit for. But yeah, and you know, John Cusack's a true talent too. So this will be fun to watch. I've, you know, sung praises of this, you know, man time and time again on my channel and in real life. And he truly is, and again, like another godhead of comedy. And I hope we can hold on to him for a bit longer. He's getting up there in age, and you know, it's been a long time, I think, since he's really been involved in anything creatively in showbiz. He did an on-stage, like Broadway thing for the Producers, right? Didn't he do a Broadway version of the Producers in the last like decade? Anyway, Mel Brooks, love Mel Brooks, and this is like a classic issuing of the original key video, copy of High Anxiety. These, you don't see these around. Kind of cool. Got me some neat retro shit, guys, for 99 cents. And I love this movie. This movie is one of the first comedies my folks like ever let me watch. You know, it was probably a TV edited version of this, obviously. But this is one that, you know, I remember from my childhood, which was like recorded off TV, and my dad and I, he'd put this on and we'd laugh, and this, and you know, The Jerk, and like a bunch of other great 70s comedies. So Blazing Saddles and all that, you know, I still have all that stuff. So really excited to have this one too. Again, really cool. I found a whole little pocket of these key video ones, and this is cool. This is really cool, because I haven't seen this. I've only ever heard about it growing up. in the height of the, satanic panic that was going on in the early 80s. That's when I was a kid. And this shit was just everywhere. Everyone was still fascinated and shook up by everything that happened, in the 60s, Summer of Love, with just kind of the craze of, Manson family, everyone's on LSD, whatever. That's, the culture was still rattled, really rattled from that in the 80s. And that's what kind of bled over into like the whole satanic panic thing of the 80s with, whatever, you're all familiar with that. But I got a sweet copy of Helter Skelter, the dramatization of the Manson story. And I've only ever seen like snippets of this and heard it talked about and stuff, but it's, it's become, a cult classic thing. And so I got a copy of this. It's really not in fantastic condition, but doesn't matter. Really neat. I'm excited to get into this. And of course, it being the holiday seasons now officially, I'm on vacation. I've got a lot of work to do tomorrow. I'm hosting again. I host my whole family, my whole big fat fucking family. They all come over here. My dad. I got 2 sisters, and they each have, my older sister has 3 kids. My younger sister has a kid. I got 2. There's always an extra handful of stragglers, that are part of the family that come and come with the territory. And we have a great time. And so I've got a lot of house cleaning, and I've got a lot of prep to do. But somewhere in there, I always manage to take 2 hours of time, and this is a tradition passed down to me from my father and his father before. No, just kidding. Just kind of a tradition from my father, a tradition for everybody, because it's really one of the few movies in blockbuster movie centered around the Thanksgiving holiday. Of course, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Steve Martin and John Candy. Doesn't get any more classic than this. Again, raised on this movie. Movies like this as well. Was this John Hughes that did this one? Yeah, it is. It's a John Hughes film. Wonderful comedy, heartwarming, raunchy moments, all kinds of great moments in this movie by 2 of the biggest comedic legends out there. So I'm very excited to get into that. Tomorrow, I'll have time. I ought to. That'll be my treat to myself at the end of the day, once I've achieved all of my giant major do list. Wrote myself a honeydew list. So it's my major do list. Got a lot to do. Okay, guys. I'll try to button this up. Sorry, I know. I'm a big fat fucking bore. Here's my LPs. I got lots of neat LPs, guys. Most of which just came from the Junkstore this time. I still have a standing credit with my local record store for a bunch of work I did this week. A bunch of electrical work. They needed some... they needed not a motion sensor light. I installed a motion sensor light, and the owner didn't want that. He's like, no, I don't want the motion. I just want the dawn to dusk. He just wants the photo sensor one. So I was like, okay, man, I'll take that one out. We'll return it. I'll get a different one, put that one on the side of the building, run the wire through the recessed part in the roof and whatever. And I'll put in a big old 12 by 12, like an LP light up there. So it only comes on at night time. And so it keeps the vermin away, if you know what I mean. My point being is I still have like a $200 and something credit at the House of Records. Yes. So that's going to be really fun for me next Monday, is going in there. I'm just going to I'm still going to be on vacation. I'm going to be on like my pseudo vacay, and I'm going to have all day to just hang out in the record store and just thumb through and buy a fucking couple $100 worth of records that I didn't pay out of my pocket for. I'm a happy boy when that shit happens. So like I said, most of this stuff just came from the Junkstore. This one is real. I've actually already spun all of this, and it's really fantastic. What a really cool find for a guy like me. I really love and cherish instrumental music. I listen to a lot of contemporary classical and classical music, but mostly kind of like contemporary jazz, blended with just kind of like I love piano music. anything really, just like instrumental and ambient. But I particularly really love just the timbre and the sound of just acoustic piano. And I've never heard of this record company, Composers Recordings Inc. CRI. Yeah, and it's not a box set. It's just a double LP, but they put it in a box. Really, really, really cool art on the front. I like it. Just kind of basic sketch art, a little bit kind of a weird abstract kind of thing. Like we're looking at some sort of weird stylus, maybe drawing desk. I don't know, what the fuck is that? Do you guys know what that is? I don't really know what's happening here, but it seems to me like it's more or less just kind of like an abstract sketch art idea. Anyway, new music for the piano. Like I said, so it's more or less contemporary stuff. We're talking probably like 50s, 60s, 70s. And yeah, I have never heard of any of these composers, but there's a pretty good mix of names on here. Nothing reoccurring, I don't think. And again, like I said, it's just a bunch of like a couple nocturnal interludes and, you know, a bunch of just kind of like preludes and quick stuff, incantations and whatnot. Yeah, I'm into this kind of shit. And I like the visual presentation. I buy LPs for the art a lot of times, strictly. That's just the kind of guy I am. I put them on my walls. I just enjoy them. And almost all the time, the music is exceptional as well. So I'm a lucky boy to have sensibilities and tastes like I do, wherein, you know, I can buy neat pieces of art and inside there's all kinds of neat things for me. And they're cheap because no one likes this kind of stuff. It's got an amazing booklet that, you know, just highlights all of the artists on the inside, tells about everything, and yeah, super neat for $2. I win. I'll bore you guys just a little bit more with some more kind of just nerd shit that I like. Okay, I've talked about challenges. It's helping. It's fun for me because it's keeping my collecting, you know, the itch, the itch we got to scratch, the collecting and, you know, acquiescence and all that. Like, you know, sometimes you're just buying to have and you don't even fucking listen to it. And that drives me crazy about myself, about my addictive tendencies. And honestly, it kind of bothers me about other people and collectors too, because I'm just like, wow, neat wall of shit that you don't listen to. I know you don't fucking listen to any of that stuff because I know how it is. And I only have 500 fucking records and it's impossible to listen to all of them. Nobody has that amount of time in their day. Anyway, so people just buy just to buy, just to have. And I'm trying really hard to just purge myself of that desire, that feeling, because I'm just like everybody else, guys. I'm just like you. I want it all. I want all of the fucking Led Zeppelin records. I want Pink Floyd's entire catalog. I really do, but I'm not going to keep trying to do that shit because I'm made of money. I don't have any fucking money. I'm a poor man. I get lucky because I find, you know, I buy thrifty and I do trade work to buy records and I sell other things that I don't need and I buy more records because records have an incredible resale value right now and they kind of always have. It's actually a pretty good investment to buy records. So anyway, where was I going with this? I'm buying stuff because I like a new, fresh thing. I like to, it's not about challenge. It's just about like finding a new way to scratch that itch. That's what I was getting at. It's just like, ooh, I'm gonna collect the whole catalog now because I love that stuff and I want the whole catalog. It's just like collecting the entire set of 1991 Marvel cards. You know what I mean? I need to have all the Marvel cards all the way up to the end, and I need to have the checklist card. If I don't have the checklist card and all 5 holograms that it comes with, I can't fucking sleep. I guess I should probably go get some real therapy rather than talking to you guys. I don't know. Anyway, all of that aside, that's my point. I'm starting to collect catalogs. I'm working on another full catalog. You guys have probably seen my offshoot episode. Keep watching. I got an update coming pretty soon. Maybe even tomorrow. But I'm going to do another one. I'm just gonna fuck it. I'm doing 3 right now, actually, because I'm also collecting the percussion series from Command label and is it Monarch label? Is that what it's called? Oh, sorry, Crown Records. The predominant, provocative, and what is it? Persuasive. Those three, the percussion records that are fucking rad. They have amazing art. I like the art. And they look good and they're cool. I'm gonna collect that whole series as well as this whole series because I love the art and I love the classical music. They're rich and delicious sounding. They're thick and lustery. I love the Odyssey series. I have a whole bunch of them already, and then I found some more at the Junkstore that I had never seen. And I love the art so much, I'm gonna start collecting this whole catalog too. So I got some Mozart, some Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in London town, and I just love that beautiful yellow. It's got a really cool label. I love the Odyssey label with the bird. And this one's really fucking beautiful. Look at that. Oh, so great. Prokofiev. Nice. Yeah, some Metropolis, the Romeo and Juliet Ballet Suite. So, super excited about these. I have probably like 2 or 3 more in there, so I'm nervous to look and see how many of these there actually are. And where Odyssey goes with this. I don't know if they, just have like a continuation of their catalog, or if they have like a real specific chunk that they did that had this style of art and design on the covers. But I love this as a cover design, art style. Love it. Okay, yes, this was exciting for me because I love their 1977 album. I believe they're incredibly underrated, in my opinion, in the world of, jazz, rock, fusion, jazz, fusion, prog rock. I often talk about the Dixie Dregs and how their 1977 album, What If, super underrated, really fucking amazing album. I actually have never seen this album. It's just a year later. What's it called? Freefall? Yeah, the Dixie Dregs album, Freefall. Definitely in the running for probably one of the worst covers for an album I've ever seen. That is just really fucking cringy. But it is what it is. Look at what's his butt? Steve Morse. Steve Morse just like, yeah, guys. I don't know. They were killing it, dude. They were killing it at this point. 1978. So, and I've never seen an album with this really kick-ass Capricorn hype sticker. That's fucking cool. That promo sticker, I mean. So, anyway, yeah, this album rips, dude. It rips. These years were really good for them. 77 and 78. They were killing it. Really fun to listen to. Yeah, I've already spent it a bunch. Nice and clean. I think I got that one for $1. Really cool. This one for $1 as well. Because I actually, I don't know anything about Todd Rundgren. I know his name is really hard to say. It's hard to say correctly. Rundgren. But this looks really, really cool. I love the art on the back. Album called Healing. Yeah, by Rundgren. And I think this was like late 70s as well, wasn't it? Like probably 78 or 79. Anyway, all of that kind of prog-ish stuff he was doing throughout the early 70s is really, really kind of cool. Didn't he do that Utopia, right? That Utopia album is pretty fucking cool. So I'm excited to dig into this and see what this is all about. Got some really kind of interesting conceptual stuff. Some metaphysical hippie shit, bro. Cool hippie shit, man. Yeah, this was probably one of the best finds from the Junkstore for me. Because I love Cal Tjader. Cal Tjader is fucking rad. And this album, look at the cool art. It's in fantastic shape. He does pairs up with Carmen McRae. I almost said Carmen Miranda. It's similar in a lot of parts. Carmen McRae, sultry, almost, dude, kind of like almost like a tenor. She's a bit of a tenor in places. But yeah, sultry, beautiful songstress. Lots of jazz hits. Dude, they do a great rendition of it's a Santana song. What is it called? Evil Ways. Oh man, this really slowed down. It's not a bossa nova. It feels like a bossa nova, but it's a different type of Latin rhythm. I think it's called a baya, because the way the rhythm is just really heavy to the transition of the bar. I think it's a baya rhythm, I used to know a little bit about percussion, about drumming. I used to be a jazz drummer, and it's so funky fresh, dude. It's so tasty, and Cal, just the way he zipping up and down that vibraphone, just paired with her voice, his vibraphone, everything is just, this album's really smoky and delicious. So everybody, it's called Heat Wave. Everybody check it out. This was a great find. I don't even know what year this was. 80. Well, no, this wouldn't have been recorded in 82, I don't think. Maybe it was. But yeah, Concord Jazz put this out in 82. So who knows? It's a really great album. Some more boring shit. Sorry, guys. This is the kind of stuff that's around a lot, but you know, dumb people skip over it. And so a lot of times this is pretty much all you're finding at the junk stores. It's just really great, like classical stuff that, you know, the meatheads don't really know anything about. But I do, and I love it. I mean, I love Baroque period stuff, all the brass heavy stuff, you know, of the, those years, anything put out on that Orphic egg label. Love that label. I'm gonna start collecting all the Orphic egg stuff too, because their art is so amazing too. I have oh no, it's not a Stravinsky collection, it's a Mussorgsky collection. I've showed that off before, by the Orphic egg label. And I mean, look at this crazy fucking cool, dude. It's so awesome. Yeah. And it's called the Baroque head. It's just a collection of some Pachelbel, some Vivaldi, some Bach, all kinds of great shit. But just for the art alone, look at that. There's a mandrill face on a upside down sandwich. Like, what is going on here? This is the coolest shit ever. Yeah, Orphic egg, this label, really cool. I'll bring out that other, that Mussorgsky collection I have. Again, it's just called like Mussorgsky's head is what it's called. And it's just got this like evil, like floating ghost head. It's fucking cool. Oh yeah, some more boring shit that you guys don't care about. But I love the art and I love classical flamenco guitar. And it's just, I mean, it's all of these fucking albums are just mint. They're 100% mint. Look at the sheen on that. Look at it glisten. Yeah, and I mean, who doesn't love flamenco guitar? Beautiful. Yeah, excited about that. And this one looked super duper weird. I'm not even sure what's going on here. That looks like some hypnosis. I'm gonna look that up because that's probably somebody in hypnosis did this art. Pretty cool. I'm assuming I don't know, is the artist named Timer or is the artist Reverbery? Reverbery? Fuck me. I don't know. It looked really intriguing. I haven't listened to it yet. It's actually probably the only album out of all these I haven't listened to yet. Yeah, the artist, Reverbery. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, guys. I look and sound real stupid right now. I'm sorry. Album's called Timer. And I looked it up as far as like, it's just some instrumental, probably like early electronica. But I don't know, like I said, really intriguing. Really great artistic display, you know. The package is beautiful. So I'm hoping the music is equally as intriguing. I'm sure it will be. Only a few left to talk about, guys. Again, you know, yammering on about how I'm gonna, you know, get the flutter back, you know, get Twitter pated about record collecting. Not that I'm disillusioned. I'm not losing, you know, it hasn't lost its fun. I just, you know, you gotta spice things up a little bit. You gotta, you know, get creative. You gotta get creative in your life and keep things new and fancy free. So like I said, I'm gonna go for catalogs. I'm gonna do maybe, yeah, I'm doing the Odyssey catalog. I'm gonna do the predominant, the Triple P Percussion catalog. Maybe I'll even try to do the Orphic Egg catalog sometime in the future. I don't know. We'll see. But I've been working on this one for a long time. I already have an offshoot episode about it. I've talked about it numerous times. Here's just, I'm not going to do a full brief I'm not going to brief you guys entirely about it, but I'm just going to go through the chunk that I've found, because I found a great little vein in the in the gold cave or whatever. You know what I mean? A little gold vein, little pocket, little chunk of good shit. Trying to get the whole Windham Hill catalog. I'm halfway there, guys. 50%. I'm halfway there. I'll give you a number count when I do my next recap episode about that. But I waltzed into this place I've talked about a few times on my channel when I talk about these, digging episodes, the Tales from the Thrift, how I found a little honey hole, little secret honey hole here in my town, in my township, that I go and I pilfer all the good stuff that no one cares about that I love. And this happens to be, the goofball, new age jazz from the 70s and 80s that nobody cares about is all just sitting there, ripe for the taking, for the mage. And I thought about it. I was like, oh, fuck. I'm doing the Windham Hill collecting thing now. I bet if I go hit that place up, they're going to have a half dozen of shit I did. And they did. Yeah, they had like 5 of them that I needed. Super great to find. So yeah, a couple of Scott Cassou albums. This one's actually, come to find, is actually kind of more of the more uncommon of the Windham Hill catalog. His reunion album with Eugene, what's his name? Eugene Friesen. So that one, and another one of his that's really uncommon. Different kind of art style, kind of cool. It's later in the years, like 88 probably, something like 87. She describes infinity. Little girl, trying to get over the fence there. Beautiful art. This one's a little bit beat up. It's not that bad, but out of all the Windham Hill records I've ever bought, most of them are almost always in very good plus excellent condition, if not completely near mint. It's interesting to find a Windham Hill record that has seen some action. It's seen some fucking action, man. Someone was spinning this Scott Cassou album. And of course, I found William Ackerman, it's his fucking label. So he has at least 6-7 releases of just his solo guitar playing. And again, this one's another one that is a bit more uncommon. It's early in the catalog. It's like 1978. This is number 6 out of everything. William Ackerman's Childhood Memory, it's called. And I'm not going to go off about this one. I think the group is called Night Noise. But it's a bunch of random different players every time they put out one of these albums. And this is just 2 guys, so they just titled it Night Noise. But there's another 2 albums with different dudes called Night Noise in the Windham Hill catalog. So I'll have to investigate that a little more, but I love that art. Beautiful photography. Yeah. And this one, probably one of my favorite, artistically speaking, the cover art in the entire Windham Hill catalog. This is one of my favorites. I don't know why I like it so much. Ira Stein and Russell Walder did at least 2, maybe if not even 3, compilation albums, just the 2 of them for Windham Hill. And this is one of them. It's the one titled Transit. The color scheme, just the really simplistic, I don't know. I love symmetrical shapes and and stark, monotone art. I don't know. I just love it. And just the transit, and the font and everything. But everything about it, just like, it tickles my weird little funny bone, my artistic funny bone. I like this one a lot. So yeah, good to have that, the transit album. That's the Windham Hill, guys. Sorry, boring, I know. But we got it out of the way. I'll do a full, for real, update episode here about my Windham Hill catalog climb. Because so many people are so fucking interested. Right. Okay, guys. I'll end it. Jeez, I know this is a bit much. But I only got one new album this week. Because like I said, I have a bunch of money at the record store on credit right now. So I'm really gonna think hard for a few days about what I really truly want. And this one was just kind of to tide me over. It was just a little morsel, something to bring home and just kind of chew on a little bit. And I'm glad I got it. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And it warmed my heart a little bit in a lot of ways, because I didn't I didn't know any of the you know, the depth of what this was all about until I, you know, unwrapped it and read into it and stuff. I just bought it because the art's dope, and it was in the, you know, ambient electronics section, and I was like, I know I'm probably gonna fucking love this, you know. My local record store is starting to kind of like curate, so to speak, ever so slightly, for not specifically for me, but I mean for a couple of random customers that are like regular customers that spend a lot of time in that section, and we're buying a lot of those albums in that section that are, you know, pricey albums, and so they're starting to take notice of that, where in the past it's like everyone's been ignoring that section for 25 years, and suddenly like all of these Windham Hill records are disappearing, and all of these, you know what I mean? Like, why is the Brian Eno section completely empty? What's happening here? You know? So anyway, point being, I've been buying a lot of stuff from that section. I just randomly pick shit out that I know, and I'm just judging by the art on it. It's like, okay, I know I'm probably gonna love this. And I look at the instrumentations. I look at, because it's almost all predominantly fully instrumental music. It's pretty rare when you have any real like vocalizations on any of these, like, you know, this section I'm talking about here. And this just looks so intriguing. You know, a bunch of like, of course, a bunch of synth, but also a bunch of like, you know, ode and hurdy-gurdy and pedal steel. You know what I mean? Like all of these kind of like random instruments that you would never see together. You would never see them on stage together. You would never think to have them in an orchestra as part of a pit orchestra or whatever. And they're all just thrown in the mix, and it works so well. And it's such an enchanting album. And then when you look at it and you think, oh, okay, this is it's a concept design, but just like night and day. Of course, that's pretty cliche. You know, that concept is, you know, dripping off the walls in art everywhere, every form of art. But, you know, the whole night and day thing, kind of neat. This album's called Cedars, by, I don't know if it's a group or it's a collaborative called Fieldworks. Album's called Cedars. There it is in English, and there it is in, I'm assuming, Arabic. Please forgive me, guys. I didn't research this fully. No hate for a guy that's just a little bit, you know, didn't do his reading. I guess I should have done my reading. I think that's Arabic. Anyway, the A side is spoken in all Arabic, and it's a bunch of poetry. And so it's spoken word poetry in Arabic to all this like gorgeous, like synth electronica, spatial, captivating, wonderful music with just all of these like fantastic interjections of random instruments, ode playing and hurdy-gurdy, like I said, predominantly synth and pedal steel, which I appreciate and love, because those two create for that like really magic ethereal effect that makes it really pleasant to listen to while you're, you know, this wonderful poetry that's happening. I don't understand the fucking language, you know, and it's still just like, it's so captivating. It's really beautiful. And then of course the B-side is all in English, and it's actually takes that style wherein, like, not to say that this part of the world or the culture or anything has a darkness to it. That's not what I'm saying, guys. I'm saying all of the music and the undertone and the theme of everything, and the way she's speaking, and all of it has kind of just like a darker, kind of more somber mood. And then on this side, when you get to the English speaking side, the music is lighter, it's more atonal, it's more Western, you know what I mean? And the poems, you know, spoken in English this time, are much more of like a kind of a pastoral, Americana, think Aaron Copland style type of, you know, not necessarily the music, but just kind of the overall vibe, you know what I mean? And it's just really great going from, you know, the dichotomy of it all. It's really beautiful, a beautiful art piece. So it was $20, like, fuck yeah, it's amazing. So that's all my neat stuff, guys. I got lots of neat things. That one came with all kinds of cool art too, and all kinds of, actually, yeah, sorry to just like go on and on about this, but for $20 and to get such a beautiful package deal. This, it's just a postcard, a large 11 by 11 postcard. It's gorgeous. And you get a full poetry book of all the written poetry from the album. It's just gorgeous. Look at all this. And they have it both in English and in Arabic. So, bless it. Pretty cool. Okay, guys. That's my junk store episode. Thanks for hanging out with me, and thanks for the therapy. Peace be with you.